let's dive in to military AR. The first, and for a long time only, major application for AR was weapons targeting systems. The reflected gun sight was widely used by fighter aircraft in World War II, but it's not necessarily a true AR device. However, the optical principles used in the reflected gun sight would form the backbone of AR development, with evolutionary optics improvements as time went on. Where the gun sight on military aircraft makes the transition into something that is clearly AR is with the inclusion of moving video symbology, accurately overlaid onto the real world. The strike sight bomb delivery HUD on the RAF's Buccaneer is a frequently cited first example. This AR HUD enabled pilots to deliver bombs more accurately and more reliably than ever before. And on top of that, it also decreased pilot workload by making critical flight information easy to interpret and in plain sight, which resulted in safer flight operations. This is a revolutionary change in combat aviation. From here onward, military AR will receive, translate, prioritize, and display signals from an ever-widening array of sensors. And critically, it will do it more and more by software determining what symbol to display where and when, as opposed to hardware-based applications. From here on, the HUD will become the poster child for augmented reality. Fighter and strike aircraft will be at the cutting edge for most major developments. But why is this the case? Well, it's because fighter and strike aircraft are generally intended to operate at the very ragged edge of what is humanly and mechanically possible, and any small fraction of improved awareness or ease of use can be the difference between success or the loss of an immensely valuable crew and aircraft. When those are the stakes and those are the conditions, two things happen. One, research and development funding is easily available, and two, the system operators, pilots in this case, will embrace any new system that gives them a new edge or advantage, even if it's slight, even if there's a learning curve associated with it. They can appreciate how much it can help them once they learn to use it. Now, you're probably thinking, well, isn't every single man and woman out there on the front line on just as much of the ragged edge as those fighter pilots? Or maybe even more so, considering that they're in unrelenting, imminent danger all day and all night. What makes the fighter pilot special? Well, money. Heads-up displays and the computers and sensors required to make them effective have always been expensive. Expensive to design, expensive to buy, expensive to maintain. So much so that it only made sense to add them in systems that were already very expensive to begin with. But just as computers have become simultaneously more powerful and also more capable, optics, display, and network technologies have also become more capable and more affordable. Something that isn't widely appreciated is that the military actually has been working aggressively to bring augmented reality to frontline troops, not for the last 5 years, but for the last 50. The military is constantly trying to add an extra edge to more common and less expensive systems, and augmented reality is often high on that wish list. What does this look like, though? Well, it's things like HUDs being added to helicopters and transports. It's the IHAD system at the core of the Apache gunship. But it's also thermal fire control systems on tanks and fighting vehicles. It's video feeds from remotely operated weapon stations. It's even things like night vision goggles and networked map overlays. Though some could argue that these are not true augmented reality. Only in the last few years, though, have computer, video processing, and network technologies reached the point where a soldier-level augmented reality seems like a possibility both from a technical and affordability perspective. We have advancements in the cell phone space largely to thank for that revolution. There's a critical component missing from this technology stack, though. Optics. We can process data and video at the soldier level, but we can't quite display it. Technology is close, but problems of bulkiness, refresh rate, clarity, field of view do remain. For now, it seems like the military is developing multiple possible solutions simultaneously, betting on networked and digitized soldier-level fire control systems, while also expanding and digitizing head-mounted night vision systems. These systems are not yet widely deployed, and the full extent of their capabilities has not been publicly disclosed. But a few things to think about. These are systems that have sensors in them that know exactly where they are and exactly where they're pointed, and they can be networked to other systems on or nearby the user. They have a digital screen or a digital overlay, which is powered by software, all of which can be updated to keep current. If you put these capabilities together, you have the required ingredients to build a very powerful soldier-level HUD already.
Everything is real-time right there, kind of like a heads-up display, if you will.
Exactly. And so we apologize to the viewers because we've gone and we've looked at the requirements, and to make sure that we're compliant with ITAR, we aren't allowed to show a through image to the scope. But we figured the next best thing was doing a render. So we'll have a render up on the screen showing what it would look like through the optic. So what you're going to see when you look through it, you're going to see the view from your analog system. You're going to see an etch reticle, again from your analog system, and you're going to see illuminated pixels displaying things like the range to the target, what we call a corrected aim point, and associated wind holds. And we can do things like we can save wind holds, we can save ranges to targets, and you can have multiple displayed on the screen. We have a whole host of things available,
which we can provide information to the user inside their field of view. And that can be anything from simple drop points with 10-mile-an-hour wind holds to full-featured menus or augmented reality. So because we use a full display rather than just having separate illuminated points, we can allow for all sorts of custom symbology inside the fire control.
Symbology, I like that. So you're telling me I should be able to take this right now and take a shot at 700?
You got it.
All right, cool, let's do it. Okay, so I have a target way far out there. Don't know the distance, and guess I'm gonna shoot it and hit it first round impact. So let's give it a shot. Okay, gonna range it. Okay, got it at 699. It's giving me my drop. Well,
Was it too easy? I mean, that was...
I would like to sell my other optics at this time. How much does this cost?
Once the system knows where you are and where you're looking, it can display relevant information as long as it's connected to a networked map. Maybe it's not so surprising then that the IVAS derived from Microsoft HoloLens has slowed down a bit. Head-mounted see-through optics are the dream, but they haven't arrived. Yet. Waveguide-based optics and new methods of glass manufacture and etching have the potential to introduce a new kind of near-eye display that hasn't been seen before. These systems are probably not quite ready for the consumer market, but over the next few years, they may become a perfect fit for the military. Companies like Elbit Systems, BAE, and Vuzix are betting that they will. For the moment, all we can do is watch. But new and advanced displays will be hitting the market very soon, and I, for one, am very excited to see these technologies finally leave the lab and become widely available. Waveguide-based displays are a fundamentally new type of product, especially in the consumer market. They aren't necessarily going to replace traditional displays. I think that at their best, they can open the door to truly brand new uses that have so far only really been seen in science fiction. More to come on this subject. It's something that particularly fascinates me, but I wanted to provide a bit of an introduction to why I think this is such an important area, and why I think this advancement is more or less inevitable over the next few years. In the future, I plan to dig a little bit deeper into some of the companies and specific technologies that I think are best positioned in this emerging market. If you felt like this was a useful perspective and that I respected your time and intelligence, then consider subscribing. Thanks.